Hello dear viewers, I am Alka and I welcome you all to my channel Study with Alka. Today in this video I am going to talk about Geoffrey Chaucer, one of the greatest poets of the Middle English literature. Geoffrey Chaucer is one of the greatest English poet, author and courtier. He is also called as the father of English poetry as well as father of English language and literature. Geoffrey Chaucer is ranked as one of the greatest poets of the late Middle Ages. Chaucer is the poet who was admired for both his philosophy as well as for his poetic talents, and the Canterbury Tales written by Geoffrey Chaucer is considered as his magnum opus. In this video, I am going to discuss his birth, his early life, his public position, his professional life, and further going to discuss about his some of his important works. Geoffrey Chaucer, hailed as the father of English literature, lived in time period between 1340 to 1400. He was born on Thames Street in London, England. An exact date of Geoffrey Chaucer's birth is not known yet, but there are some evidences in history that prove that he was born in somewhere between 1340 to 1344 to John Chaucer and Agnes Copton. John Chaucer is Geoffrey Chaucer's father's name and Agnes Copton was his mother. If we talk about Geoffrey Chaucer's career, Geoffrey Chaucer was a man of multiple career and a man with multiple potential. During his lifetime, he was famous as an English author, poet, philosopher, alchemist, and astronomer. He also served in the field of civil services as a bureaucrat, courtier, and diplomat. Geoffrey Chaucer was the first poet to be buried in the Poets' Corner of Westminster Abbey, and there are various reasons that prove that he was one of the greatest English poet of his era of the Middle Ages. If we talk about Geoffrey Chaucer's family, his father, John Chaucer, was a successful wine merchant and also an important member of the business community of London. Geoffrey Chaucer belonged to a family that somewhere had a great hold in royal family. His family was of bourgeois class, descended from an affluent family who made their money in London wine trade. If we talk about Geoffrey Chaucer's schooling, it is believed that he attended the St. Paul's Cathedral School, where he first probably became acquainted with the influential writings of Virgil and Ovid. Virgil and Ovid are some of the influences, actually Virgil and Ovid's writings are some of the influences that can be seen in Geoffrey Chaucer's work. In 1366, Chaucer married Philippa de Roet, the daughter of Sir Payne Roet, and marriage was actually something that helped him conveniently in his career in the English court. Actually, Sir Payne Roet had a great position in English court, and this helped Geoffrey Chaucer in building his career as a diplomat and as a courtier. The first record that we come across in Chaucer's life is dated in 1357. It mentions him as a page in the household of Elizabeth de Burgh, the Countess of Ulster. It is the first time where we find his mention in the history of English literature. It is believed that in 1357, Geoffrey Chaucer, at his teenage, worked as a page in the household of Elizabeth, the Countess of Ulster, and the wife of Prince Lionel of Antwerp. Chaucer probably secured this position through his father's connection. In 1359, the teenage Chaucer went off to fight in the Hundred Years' War in France, and at Rethel he was captured for ransom. It was in 1359 that Chaucer was captured by the enemy force, and the king paid £16 as his ransom, thus securing his release. The incident shows that by then Chaucer already had established himself at the court. In 1363, on the death of Elizabeth de Burgh, Chaucer was sent to work for Queen Philippa of Hainault, the consort of King Edward III. By 1370, Chaucer was traveling abroad on a diplomatic missions for the king. It is believed that he took his first known journey to Italy in December 1372 and remained there until May 1373. It was during his journey, that he came across with the work of Italian writers, and Italian writers actually had a great influence on Chaucer's own work. Chaucer's high standing continued during the reign of King Richard, who became king in 1377. Chaucer received various appointments, including Justice of the Peace in Kent in 1385, Clerk of King's Work in 1389, and Deputy Forester of the Royal Forest of North Petherton in Somerset in 1390. During this time period, he also got elected as Knight of the Shire in 1386 and served in Parliament. Now, these are some important works which glorifies Geoffrey Chaucer as one of the greatest author and poet of the Middle Ages. The work of Dante, Boccaccio, and Petrarch. These three greatest Italian, French, and Spanish writers had great influence on Chaucer's literary endeavors. Chaucer's first major work, the Book of the Duchess, composed somewhere around 1368, is also one of his greatest work. Chaucer's early work is heavily influenced by love poetry of the French tradition. For example, the Roman de la Rose, or we can say the Romaunt of the Rose, which was published in Circa 1370, and Saint Cecilia in 1373. He composed dream visions in the Legend of Good Women, the Parliament of Fowls, as well as Troilus and Cressida. Actually, the Romaunt of the Rose, the Legend of the Good Women, the Book of the Duchess, Troilus and Cressida are some of the major works of Geoffrey Chaucer, and the Book of the Duchess is actually his first composition. Geoffrey Chaucer is most famous for his work, The Canterbury Tales. The Canterbury Tales is actually considered as his magnum opus. It is actually a great epic which is yet incomplete but holds a great position in English literary field. They are a series of tales told by a group of pilgrims on their way to Canterbury. The Canterbury Tales is one of the very important chapter, one of the very important topic for your paper 1 of Ignou, and I'll make few videos on this also. So this is it for today's video, where I have discussed Geoffrey Chaucer's life in brief. I'll try to come up with few more videos where I'll particularly talk about Geoffrey Chaucer as a poet and Chaucer as a father of English literature. Hope this helped you. Please do like, share, and subscribe my channel. Thank you.